Okay, let's go. You know, the national currency, the Naira, opened the month of April on a positive note. It appreciated to 1,278 Naira to the US dollar, at least 1,309, from 1,309 Naira recorded last week. It is noteworthy to state that the Naira has gained some 21% over the dollar as a result of the intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The ban on the street wants an exchange rate that affects him positively, right?
Yes, and frankly, we have to give credit to the CBN governor, Olaime Cardoso, for the steps that he has taken since he became the CBN governor.
Okay.
No doubt, at the time this government came into office, they felt the need to ditch the fixed foreign exchange rate regime in place of flotation of currency. Of course, in a very crooked forex market like ours, where most people do not think it makes sense to play by the rules, or where many people do not think it makes sense to play by the rules, where banks are doing their round tripping, where individuals who have stolen billions of naira are looking for a reliable store of value for what they have stolen. It is not advisable to simply leave everything to market forces to determine. What the CBN has now done is to do what is called the managed float. A managed float indicates that you are not leaving everything totally to market forces to decide. You are intervening minimally. I see a lot of needless arguments on social media that they are no longer floating the Naira. I don't know why our people. I think what people do is once they've made up their minds on an issue,
they go to
even
town.
if you help them, you're trying to help them to get out of their ignorance, they will still stick to that issue. So as far as many of them are concerned, he has seen that floating the Naira is not good. He has suspended floating. He has ditched floating. The question to ask is, what is the opposite of floating? The opposite of floating is the fixed forex rate regime, whereby you say, okay, our rate now, our exchange rate is 460 to the dollar.
Yeah.
And it stays like that until the regulator thinks, okay, let us devalue the Naira further. This was what was happening before now. President Buhari never agreed to floating. I've also seen people say, oh, they've gone back to what the former administration was doing. Of course, that is not true. The system is different. The windows are unified. And everyone goes to trade in that unified market. The totality of the transaction on a given day, they will then find the average. That is how they arrive at the rate at which the Naira closed on a given day. It's not like before, where you knew that it was 460, the official market, the official rate was 460 to the dollar. And you had a different rate for people going for Hajj. You have a different rate for people going to school abroad. We had multiple windows. There's no such thing as a multiple window. So to say that they've gone back to what others are doing, or they are not doing anything different to others, is the height of ignorance, deliberate ignorance peddling. That is what we are seeing. What the CBN is doing currently is to ensure that after the clearing of those forex obligations to banks and to the airlines, we are able to supply the market a lot better. CBN and other banking institutions are bringing more dollars into the market. Of course, they are able to do that because foreign portfolio investments are coming in. Nigeria is selling its treasury bills at a rate that is attractive to foreign investors. So they are buying Nigerian assets. And what that has helped us to achieve is greater liquidity. We have more dollars now that we can push.
Does this say we are close to home?
No, it's one way by which we can get to the optimum value of our currency without doing what we are doing. There was a time that Emefiele spent 17 billion defending the Naira. We don't have such luxury anymore. We don't have that kind of money to simply be throwing at, defending the currency. So that's why the managed float ensures that, okay, while we leave a greater chunk of the decision making, in inverted commas now, to market forces, we cannot afford to let it slide beyond the reasonable level. There were people who kept stolen Naira, and they kept going to that market to buy. In such a situation, they will continue to create scarcity that will drive up the
value
dollar rate and crush our currency. So now the CBN, okay, let us come up with some measures. Today, if you are selling dollars to a bureau de change operator, you cannot sell beyond $10,000. And if you are selling above 10,000, you must show proof of how you got the money. So there are some measures that have been taken. If your son is sending dollars to you now from the UK or wherever he is, nobody will pay you dollars across the counter. They will pay you the Naira equivalent.
Okay.
Yes, because it's not the legal tender in our country. Okay. So what is the craze for the dollar about? My feeling is that we are on a good course. No matter what some people don't want us to get out of it. But we are on a good course. And the Naira will ultimately find its right value. It will ultimately find its right value. The measures being taken now, including the clearing of those backlogs, are encouraging foreign investors to take Nigeria seriously again. Because one thing, even when the president traveled, the last time he traveled, he said, you will be able to repatriate your money. Nobody wants to come into an economy where you make money and you can't repatriate your funds.
Yeah.
So the president has continued to say that. And with the way Cardoso prioritized paying all those backlogs, I think that the confidence in the Nigerian economy is coming back, and we are seeing it. Of course, the Diaspora remittances too have gone up. When I asked one of my friends, how come the Diaspora remittance? Because the CBN will readily admit that this liquidity is partly influenced by increased Diaspora remittances. You now say, with the Naira being so weak, the people abroad, they are encouraged to send more dollars home. You get the point? If they are building projects and other things that they want to do.
All right.
So in a season where the currency that they are using there is a lot stronger than our own, they will be sending more money home. You know, so I think...
Mayor, to the man on the street, this, what he has just said sounds like beautiful grammar. So it means information, disinformation and all that. We have to do something about it, because if the man on the street is informed regularly like this, tension will be lessened.
Yes, I agree. I'm one of those that criticize the governor of central bank or the monetary and fiscal policies of this government because they, at the initial stage, they made the mistake of allowing it to get out of hand. It got to a situation where if things have not been done, the Naira will have just collapsed. At 1,600, it was threatening to go up.
Aye.
And it was going on in a way that...
Got to 2,000.
Yeah, it got, yes, so almost, yes, because there was a time, it was 2050. And the mistake that they made was that they should have done what they are doing now, which is manage float. No country floats its currency, even United States of America. Nobody floats currency because it is too volatile for you to allow the dictate of
The market forces,
to determine the value of your currency. I agree that yes, there is need for us to have a unified window. I agree that it is not right for us to have an official rate and the other rate that people now use it to do round tripping, and they were making billions. Even the former governor of central bank criticized and said people are making billions without doing anything. I concede that. But they should now that they've, but you see, the hope that I had then was that we know the antecedents of Cardoso. Somebody cannot, class is permanent. If you are brilliant, you cannot become bad overnight. So we know that eventually it's going to get it right.
Yes.
So we are on the right course because we'll be able to solve a lot of problems. One, we'll be able to beat the backs of those who are trading negatively on the Naira. Like the cryptocurrency people, the Binance and all that, who were manipulating that rate because it is in their interest to do so. And a lot of dark money was coming in, and nobody could identify those who are doing those business. We were able to break that, and then we'll be able to halt the speculators, because there are some speculators who were buying the dollar to hold, believing that, oh, this thing is now in 2,000, it will keep going and then we'll cash out. And eventually, they've lost a lot of money. So they too were now forced to offload a lot of currencies with them. So it's an interplay thing. But what is important is that the CBN is on the right track. Is on the right track. I still believe that it's to still come much, much lower than the way it is now. Ultimately, it's going to be around 700. I see it around 700, 750. Between 700 and 800. I think that will be the real value of the Naira. Yeah. What we have now is just the teething stage of introducing a policy. It takes some time for you to be able to look at those who wants to outsmart you and all that. And I give it to Cardoso because, like I said, I was one of those who criticized him to say, look, you cannot allow this to be going like this, but I thank God that...
Remember, it wasn't even Cardoso that initiated this thing.
Yeah, I know.
The whole thing began after the president took over.
Yes.
Then when the president took over, he used the former CBN governor for some time.
Yeah.
After that, then he picked one of the deputy CBN governors, and that was the person who ran the show for some time before Cardoso came on the scene.
Yes.
You know, so Cardoso cannot be blamed. He didn't start.
No, of course, yes. He didn't.
He met them.
He met it, yes.
On this thing, but he's the one who has now introduced some tough measures to make life difficult for people who are trading. We didn't know, and I can bet my life that what Cardoso did by ordering those banks, Nigerian banks held on to $5 billion. And we didn't know that they had that money. There's scarcity, and you kept this kind of money.
And they didn't give anybody. Because you go to your bank, they won't give you. Yes, they won't give you.
The truth is, they didn't work for it. It was the CBN that was selling dollars to them. CBN will auction dollars every week.
And they will buy.
They were getting it. Sometimes the CBN will auction as much as $120 million in 1 week. And they were getting it cheaply. Why are you keeping tons of dollars? You are just, you are an agent. You don't, you are not a manufacturer who needs to bring in product and all that.
Yeah.
You are just an agent to reach the end user, and you are holding on to it. So Cardoso came and said, all those dollars in their vaults, they must sell. Some of those tough measures that we are seeing now will never have happened in the past.
The dollars are beginning to come out now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Even that week when, because he gave them a time ceiling that within this time, it must come out.
Yeah.
And we are seeing increased liquidity. When the liquidity increases, the hunger itself will be moderated. It is because people can find it.
Dangote is on stream now.
Yes.
They started selling now.
In fact,
I hear
when it talks about 700, that it would come to 700 or 800. That is what I feel too. Because as we speak now, we are not even making enough money from crude oil sales because of forward contracts that the last administration
did
embarked upon.
Okay, we must.
So whatever crude oil we produce now,
honor those contracts.
yes, they are said.
But you've collected the money.
Even Dangote cannot receive crude oil from NNPC because they've already sold in advance. They've sold in advance and collected the money.
That's why he's buying from America now.
Yes.
Buying crude from America.
So the money that this new administration should be making from crude oil sales is not coming because whatever you produce now is already pre-sold. So, and when that forward contract ends,
I think it's ending in around some
somebody
months.
said June or so.
Yes, June, around June.
When that ends, and we can achieve greater production, we've already achieved greater production. They got to, I think, like 1,400 per day. But Nigeria is capable of producing 2,500 barrels if we sort out the issues that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 million.
Okay.
2.5 million barrels a day if we sort out our issues. Oil theft is humongous. Yeah. Yes. We sort out matter of oil theft. Then the divesting that is going on in that oil sector, some foreign companies are leaving. And when they leave, production levels also drop.
Goes down, yeah.
So if we can sort out the problems in the oil sector, if Nigeria can do 2.5 million liters a day, we will earn a lot of foreign exchange that the pressure on the Naira will go down drastically. I pity people who did not use their brains, went and bought dollars for like 1,800 Naira, about 1,800 Naira,
hoping
that it will get worse. If those Binance people, if we had not moved against them, oh my God, what they were planning for you and I was to push the Naira to like 3,000 to the dollar. That was where they were heading. And if they were not criminals, they arrested one.
Of course
they found a way to escape. If your hands are clean, you wait for your...
Of course they're criminals.
They ran away.
Mayor, you and I know that the ultimate way of saving the Naira, the national currency, is to go into an aggressive production activity one more time and foreign exchange.
Of course.
And
it's not rocket science.
Not magic.
If you don't, but the problem that we have is that we import so much and we export so little. We have to do something about that.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem because when you import, you use foreign exchange to pay.
That's it.
You don't pay in Naira. You use foreign exchange to pay. And that puts so much pressure on your Naira because you have to continually look for dollar. Everybody's looking for dollar. The person that wants to import things. So we import all manner of things. So it is important that as we are looking to increase our oil production, we must also find a way of bringing back production. And also, I think government should also look into agricultural produce. Because, for example, now cocoa is doing very well. The cost of cocoa is very high now in the world market. But we are not really producing the cocoa. But we can do it because in the old Western region, it was the money of cocoa that they used to develop Western region. Yes. And they did so many things. So many things. Awolowo and his crew were able to do so many things based on the processing from
Eastern
cocoa.
region, all this. Palm
oil, yes.
And north.
And not cotton.
And
cotton, yes. So what I'm saying is,
tannery.
yes, we have to go back to that. We have to find a way. And granules and all that. So
you know that place where they used to do the granite pyramids. Initially, they were
in Kano.
Yes, initially local dry cleaners, people they call. Listen, they wash clothes there. So they changed the name of the place to Filling Wanka. That means they feed where they wash clothes.
Oh,
Filling
really?
Wanka. Today, if you go to Kano, except if something has changed, they now sell second-hand cars in that place. Where we used to have the granite pyramids, the iconic granite pyramids. It's second-hand cars that they sell there. To tell you that we just gave up agri production.
By choice.
That provided us with cash. They call them cash crops.
Yeah.
In those days, even in social studies, we were taught that they were cash crops. You know, economic trees. We gave up agri production.
You know, gentlemen, I remember when the mad cow disease came, we got told that cyanide from cassava was the cure to mad cow disease. And that's why Abia State, the governor at the time, Uzo Kalu, made so much money by exporting cassava. So it
Nigeria
means,
is the world's greatest producer of cassava.
yeah, but could you say that today?
We are still the number one.
Yes, we are still doing well in
We are
cassava.
still the number one. You see,
But we can do better.
what we are not doing is the byproduct.
Okay.
You know, what they call the value chain. That's what the Swiss, the Danes, they made the best chocolates, but they don't grow cocoa.
At all.
They don't have cocoa.
You can't even grow there.
They will buy it from Ivory Coast
Yeah.
and then make far more money from it
And export to
and
Ivory
export to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast will make money from selling cocoa to them. They will turn it to chocolates. We'll see how costly chocolates are now.
Yeah.
Get into any.
In fact, it's more expensive now.
Very expensive.
In the foreign market
Yes.
now, yes. Because the cost of cocoa has gone up really, you know.
Yes.
I think there is scarcity of
So-
the product itself.
Gentlemen, as we sit here, we have a choice. We must go back there.
It's production that will help
Yes.
us. These measures that the CBN has taken, they are like remedial measures to address a situation urgently.
Yeah.
But what will bring us out of this problem is production,
For sure.
production.
Nothing else.
Nothing
Yeah,
else.
I agree
We have
with
to.
you. I agree.
But when people say, I tell them, look, they are not fools. You don't expect them to fold their arms. You are wondering why they are selling treasury bills at 17%, whereas it was 4% in January. They've got to find a way to bring in the dollars.
Obviously. Yeah.
And if they are doing that, those people are investing. In some months down the line, they will want to repatriation of what they are invested in. We have the dollars. We are getting the dollars that we need now. You can't blame them for doing that.
Yeah.
Because if they just sat down and didn't do anything, we will be on 3,000 Naira to $1 now.
Oh, come on.
And nobody wants to see that. That would be, I mean, it will just...
Because at the time I was scared. I went to
Even me.
Cup of Nature. I went to World Cup of Nature in Cote d'Ivoire, and I was scared that what has our Naira become? So, well, at least it's getting better.
Okay.
Let's be hopeful.
The important thing is we're on our way home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.